Chapter 343. Master Blood Demon froze, then turned his head and asked Corpse Man, what's going on? What does my minor blood demon body separating great technique have to do with him? Good kid, you're indeed not afraid of death. Corpse Man was inwardly startled by Yi Chen's courage and replied, you still don't know. He cultivates the minor blood demon body separating great technique you created. If not for this secret skill, he would have died in my hands long ago. You lost in his hands. Master Blood Demon finally understood what was going on. No wonder Corpse Man didn't stay in Windy Nation and ran to the Blood Demon battlefield. It turned out that he was beaten out by someone else. As for the minor blood demon body separating great technique, he had once taught it to a few of his subordinates. 2 of them had been killed, so Yi Chen must have obtained it from them. Or perhaps they were killed by someone else, and Yi Chen killed that person. Narrowing his eyes, Master Blood Demon's tone was indifferent. Kid, are you going to kill yourself, or do you want me to capture you and feed you to my blood demon doppelganger? You don't seem to have the qualifications. At this moment, Yi Chen could be considered as a tycoon among astral-reaching experts. In the past, Corpse Man and Master Blood Demon were legends to him. He could still clearly remember that moment of horror when he saw the 5 ghosts carrying the coffin. But now, even Corpse Man had been defeated by him. If one were to talk about legends, then he himself was a legend. I don't have the qualifications. Master Blood Demon seemed to have heard something funny, and started to laugh in a strange manner. Who was he? He was the peak battle strength of the 108 ghost generals of the 9 ghost cult. He had once participated in the extermination of a 6th grade sect, slaughtering a large number of 6th grade sect elders. In terms of battle strength, under Sea of Soul Realm, those stronger than him could be counted on one hand. There was a period of time when his name could stop a child from crying. It was a synonym for terror. Who would have thought that the current young generation wouldn't take him seriously? How could he not laugh? However, the killing intent in his laughter made Corpse Man's pupils shrink. He actually dared to anger Master Blood Demon. This kid really doesn't know how the word death is written. In terms of terror, Master Blood Demon is one of the few ghost generals. As one of the 108 ghost warriors of the 9 ghost cult, the Corpse Man was very clear about the characteristics of the other ghost warriors. Excluding the top 3 super horrifying ghost warriors, the Blood Demon would definitely be in the top 5, just like the Sound Wave Ghost General. When he went crazy, he would be able to kill gods and demons. My god! It's Master Blood Demon. Quick, take the treasured sword and run. As soon as Yi Chen, Master Blood Demon, and the others appeared, the people who were fighting immediately split up. One of them was very agile, rolling up the rock with the sword in it and running away. Courting death. The Blood Demon doppelganger beside Master Blood Demon turned into a blood-colored light and pounced forward. Ah! The blood light pierced through the body of a slightly weaker late astral reaching expert like a hot knife through butter, appearing in front of him at an astonishing speed. Get lost! The man punched out, causing the void to tremble. Unfortunately, the Blood Demon doppelganger didn't fight him head-on. Its body elongated like a blood-red cloth, wrapping around the opponent and tightening abruptly. Creak! The protective Zhen Yuan warped and deformed. The corrosive blood demon Zhen Yuan invaded, turning into fine needles and piercing into the opponent's head. The plump skin and flesh shriveled at an unimaginable speed. Losing control, the powerful protective Zhen Yuan naturally lost control and immediately dissipated. With a ripping sound, the blood-colored light entered the opponent's body. By the time the Blood Demon doppelganger came out, the man had already turned into a skeleton wrapped in a layer of skin. His flesh and essence Yuan had been cleanly devoured. Jia jia. Licking his lips with his blood-red tongue, the Blood Demon doppelganger let out a strange laugh. Yi Chen looked on with cold eyes. Even if these people were alive, they wouldn't help him. Therefore, whether they died or not didn't affect him in the slightest. He was more than happy to let the blood demon doppelganger kill them. Master Blood Demon, you're too tyrannical. I, Zhang Xian, have never offended you, nor do we have any conflicts of interest. Why did you kill him? Among the 6, only one dared to speak to Master Blood Demon in such a manner. It was that peak astral reaching expert, Zhang Xian. Although he was apprehensive of Master Blood Demon's strength, he didn't believe that Master Blood Demon could do anything to him. In a one-on-one battle, he was confident that he could escape with some injuries. Master Blood Demon shot a glance at him. What? You're not convinced? Leave the sword, and you can scram. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. Merciless? I'd like to see how you're going to stop me. Zhang Xian coldly snorted. His Jin Yuan turned into a huge hand and grabbed the blood-red rock. In order to save time, he didn't immediately put it into his storage ring. Instead, he charged at the blood demon doppelganger. This series of actions was completed in the time it takes for a spark to fly off a flint. The blood demon doppelganger's mouth suddenly opened, and a strange scene occurred. His mouth seemed limitless, expanding to several meters in size before swallowing Zhang Xian. Insignificant skill. Break. An arc of light flickered in the void, and a hole was torn open in the blood demon doppelganger's mouth. Dark red blood splattered everywhere, sprinkling on the surface of the passage, producing sizzling sounds of corrosion. Corpse Ghost, you go kill the others. Master Blood Demon said to Corpse Man, then coldly looked at Yi Chen. Kid, stay here and don't move. If you move, I'll chop off one of your legs. If you don't move, perhaps I'll let you live. After speaking, the air turned fuzzy, and Master Blood Demon disappeared. Pang! In the next moment, Master Blood Demon and Zhang Xian exchanged blows. The result was that Zhang Xian was blown back, and the blood-red rock fell to the ground. Just as Master Blood Demon was about to grab the rock and throw it into his storage ring, a figure flickered, and the rock disappeared. Kid, you're courting death. Master Blood Demon was fuming with anger. How could he not know that the one who made the move was none other than Yi Chen? Master Blood Demon, you don't have the qualifications to order me. Right now, I want to kill Corpse Man. Who can stop me? After seizing the blood-red rock, Yi Chen didn't bother with Master Blood Demon anymore. He turned around and rushed toward Corpse Man. His shadow separation light art made his figure seem like a ghost. Bastard! Do you think I, Corpse Man, am a fish on the chopping block, waiting to be slaughtered by you? Corpse Man thought that Yi Chen's battle strength wasn't much different from before, and only his cultivation base was a bit stronger. Therefore, he wasn't the least bit worried about his life. Green Lotus Mountain Splitter. The sword light imprinted with the Sky Creation Green Lotus split the passage and slashed toward Corpse Man. Break for me. With a shriek, Corpse Man smashed the golden skull on the sword light. Rumble. A frightening shockwave radiated in all directions, piercing through countless passages nearby. The hard soil was blown away like weathered sand. Impossible. His battle strength can't be this powerful. The golden skull flew out of Corpse Man's hand, and he shot backward like a broken sack. His broken body pierced through layer after layer of soil. Die! Yi Chen chased after him, performing the 7th movement of his Green Lotus sword art, Green Lotus Sky. All of the moving sand and rocks floated in the air, losing all of their momentum. The Corpse Man's flying speed suddenly decreased drastically, as he sank into the mud and could not control himself. Brat, you've angered me. Master Blood Demon's face was frighteningly gloomy. He tossed aside Zhang Xian and chased after Yi Chen. Zhang Xian didn't dare to provoke the furious Master Blood Demon, but the death of his subordinates made him very angry. He didn't get the sword, and had caused a lot of trouble. Leaving in a cowardly manner wasn't his style. His eyes turned, and his gaze fell on the Blood Demon doppelganger. Since he couldn't beat Master Blood Demon, eradicating his doppelganger would be a great thing. In any case, if it was one-on-one, almost no peak astral reaching expert could kill him. Rip. The arcs of light crisscrossed, enveloping the blood demon doppelganger within. The blood demon doppelganger was a great helper of Master Blood Demon. Its battle strength was very close to peak high-grade blood demons. However, a gap was a gap. Under Zhang Xian's all-out attack, the doppelganger was chopped miserably, letting out strange cries. If not for high-grade blood demons' exceptionally tenacious vitality, which allowed them to be dismembered, the doppelganger would have long since died under Zhang Xian's hands. I'm going to die from anger. On the way, Master Blood Demon heard the doppelganger's miserable cries. His heart was filled with fury, almost driving him insane. His soaring blood chi was even more frightening than peak high-grade blood demons. The soil above his head was corroded, forming a huge hole, with debris falling down. I'll kill that kid first, then kill this person. Knowing which was more important, Master Blood Demon held back his desire to kill Zhang Xian and continued chasing after Yi Chen. Tang Shui, save me. In front of him, Corpse Man was terrified. It originated from the fear of death. He had traveled unhindered in South Rudra region for many years, and everyone knew that he was cruel and frightening. Who would have thought that he, who was cruel to begin with, was extremely afraid of death? From a dead man to a living man, he treasured his life very much. Yi Chen, who seemed to be in his 20s, was like a fiend. Under the activation of his sword intent, all distracting thoughts seemed to have been erased. His emotionless eyes were fixated on Corpse Man. You're known as Corpse Man. Today, I'll turn you into a real ghost. With a slash of the Star Scar sword, a fist-sized green lotus tore through the air and rapidly pierced through Corpse Man's face, coming out from the back of his head. The life aura in Corpse Man's eyes disappeared, and he smashed into the soil with a bang. Kid, I'll skin you alive. Master Blood Demon caught up. Raising his hand, 5 blood-red streaks shot out. Turning around, he raised his sword to block. Pang! The blood-red streaks scattered, and Yi Chen retreated 3 steps. That kid is powerful. He blocked Master Blood Demon's attack. Blood Demon Doppelganger was extremely hard to kill. Zhang Xian attacked while observing Master Blood Demon's situation. Seeing Yi Chen block Master Blood Demon's furious attack, he was quite astonished. Activating his Jin Yuan to disperse the blood chi on the Star Scar sword, Yi Chen raised his eyes. Master Blood Demon, don't think too highly of yourself. Your era has long passed. Very well, I'll let you know the consequences of being arrogant. In the future, you'll spend your days howling in grief. Those who offend me, Master Blood Demon, will find it hard to die even if they want to. Master Blood Demon laughed out of extreme anger. His storage ring flickered with a dim light, and a blood-red stick appeared in his hand. This stick was thick at the front and narrow at the back. At the end, several blood-red ribbons were coiled around it. These ribbons danced on their own like tentacles. Chapter 344. Brat, die for me. The blood-red stick in Master Blood Demon's hand was a mid-grade artifact. As those tentacle-like ribbons streaked across the air was cut open, issuing a strange buzzing sound. As Master Blood Demon poured his Jin Yuan into it, a blood-red halo appeared on the tip of the stick, and it heavily attacked toward Yi Chen. So strange. It can affect people's minds and make them confused. Yi Chen squinted his eyes. The buzzing sound of the ribbons cutting through the air even made him feel a bit scared. It should be known that his current sword intent was enough to contend against a normal complete sword intent. No distractions would arise, and no evils would invade. In other words, Master Blood Demon's achievements in the demonic Tao were absolutely frightening. Without any thoughts, Yi Chen's sword greeted the blood-red stick. Bang! The blood-red stick was much heavier than metal. As soon as the Star Scar sword slashed at it, it felt like it was slashing at a metal mountain. The powerful impact crazily surged forth, and Yi Chen couldn't stop his body. He was forced to take 5 steps back, and the hard soil was turned into dust. Meanwhile, Master Blood Demon also took 3.5 steps back. My full power attack in my normal state only made him take 5 steps back. Moreover, it seems like he has the advantage of a mid-grade artifact. Master Blood Demon angrily looked at Yu Qin. He was in his normal state, but Yu Qin was also in his normal state. If the weapons in their hands were the same, he wouldn't have the confidence to make Yu Qin take 5 steps back, even though each of the latter's steps had turned the ground into dust. You take my sword as well. His right foot stomped on the ground, creating a hole. Yu Qin held his sword with one hand and thrust out, using the lone peak kill that he hadn't used in a long time. Not good. Master Blood Demon could tell that this sword contained the killing mentality. The killing mentality contained many different mentalities, such as speed and distance. Under this sword, it immediately gave rise to an illusion. The sword light was clearly right in front of his eyes, but he still felt that it was far away. Roar! At this moment, blocking was clearly a bad idea. Master Blood Demon's throat swelled, and his Jin Yuan condensed into an illusory skull. Along with his roar, the skull exploded with a frightening sound wave. The sound wave was gray-black in color, and it swept out like a wave, radiating in all directions. It's that sound wave technique again. Yu Qin had seen it once from the corpse man, so he hurriedly pulled back his sword and retreated, using his green lotus Jin Yuan to protect his entire body from being injured by the sound wave. Buzz! The speed of sound was the speed of sound, but under the stimulation of Jin Yuan, the sound wave released by Master Blood Demon had clearly surpassed the speed of sound by several times. The hard soil vibrated at an abnormal frequency, disintegrating on its own. In terms of lethality, the sound wave released by Corpse Man could not be compared to Master Blood Demon at all. We can't stay here for long. It's better to leave. The range of the sound wave was very wide. Zhang Xian was only several hundred meters away from the two. His qi and blood were boiling from the sound wave, and his chest felt like vomiting. Even if it were to happen a few more times, he wouldn't dare to guarantee that he wouldn't suffer any internal injuries. Not caring about killing the blood demon doppelganger whose blood light had dimmed, Zhang Xian slashed apart the doppelganger and fled towards the nearby passage. Master Blood Demon had already classified Yu Qin as a great enemy. He didn't care about Zhang Xian's departure in the slightest. Moreover, even if he did care, he could still kill Yu Qin, and then kill Zhang Xian. Just now, Yu Qin's sword strike had made him feel a trace of threat. Fortunately, he had exchanged the Great Blood Demon body separating great technique with the Sound Wave Ghost General. Unlike Corpse Man, Master Blood Demon had already cultivated the Ghost Roar technique to an extremely high realm, only slightly inferior to the Sound Wave Ghost General. Under this roar, even peak astral reaching experts would have their chi and blood flow reverse, suffering some light injuries. However, it was a pity that Yu Qin was completely unscathed. In terms of Jin Yuan purity, there are very few astral reaching experts that can surpass me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to block this sound wave. After entering mid-astral reaching realm, Yu Qin's Jin Yuan was more than twice as pure as when he defeated Corpse Man. Therefore, even if Master Blood Demon's Ghost Roar technique was more powerful, it couldn't injure him. Demon Morning Wind Rod. His body rising from the ground, a blood-red flame ignited on Master Blood Demon's body. The blood-red flame adhered to the rod, condensing into blood-red skulls. These skulls were densely packed, covering the entire rod as they opened their mouths and roared simultaneously. Rumble. The air collapsed, and a large spatial crack pervaded the air. Accompanying the crack was the rod with the blood-red skulls. The heavy rod ignored the distance between the two and fiercely smashed over. What a powerful killing move. Sky-shattering clouds. Zigzagging lightning erupted, and a cyan flame ignited on Yu Qin's body. His sword struck the center of the rod without any deviation. Creak. The shockwave exploded in an instant, and the star scar sword in Yi Chen's hand distorted for a split second, folding like a ripple. Not good, the star scar sword is reaching its limit. Although a low-grade artifact was exceptionally tenacious and could endure the infusion of Jin Yuan, it had experienced many big and small battles ever since it followed Yi Chen. Among them, there was no lack of evenly matched, bitter, and bloody battles. For example, the previous confrontation with Ice Blade could be considered a battle where defeat was turned into victory. However, the current situation was different. As Yi Chen entered mid-astral reaching realm, his Jin Yuan became increasingly purer and more tyrannical, and the star scar sword itself was under a lot of pressure. After exchanging blows with the infamous Master Blood Demon several times, the star scar sword finally couldn't bear the burden and showed signs of breaking. Seeing Yi Chen's embarrassment, Master Blood Demon laughed, "Kid, artifacts are also a part of strength. Die." Bang! 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 Holding the blood-red rod, Master Blood Demon smashed at Yi Chen again and again. Each strike was as heavy as a mountain, forcing Yi Chen to meet force with force. Green Lotus Chi Transformation. An illusory green lotus appeared, and hundreds of sword chi shot out like the spikes of a hedgehog, forming a black mass. Useless. Break for me. It was impossible for Master Blood Demon to give up such a good opportunity. The blood-red rod crazily swept out. Before the sword chi could even approach, they were shattered into nothingness. Break. Swish. Taking a step forward, Master Blood Demon suddenly appeared 5 steps in front of Yi Chen and smashed his rod over. Creak. Tiny cracks appeared on the star scar sword, and a teeth-numbing metallic sound rang out. In the next moment, thousands of fragments exploded. The star scar sword was shattered. Ha! A sword artist has lost his sword. Let's see how you contend against me. Master Blood Demon was incomparably carefree. He had roamed the South Rudra region for many years, and it wasn't that he hadn't fought against peak sword artists. He was very clear that once a sword artist lost their sword, their battle strength would be reduced by at least 50%. The reason for this was precisely the sword intent. Only by attaching the sword intent to the sword could it display its greatest might. Without the sword intent was equivalent to being crippled. At most, it could increase the offensive power of Jin Yuan. The air was torn apart, and the blood light hacked toward Yi Chen's head. That tentacle-like ribbon was even more frightening than a sharp blade. Even if the rod couldn't hit Yi Chen, a single scratch from the ribbon would cause his head to break. At this moment, having lost his sword, it wouldn't be that easy for Yi Chen to receive Master Blood Demon's attack from a distance. Chi! 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 Yi Chen's expression was grave and stern. Both of his hands flicked, and 3 green lotus sword chi shot through the air. What? Sword chi aroused from within his body. Withdrawing the rod, 2 of the sword chi were annihilated. The remaining sword chi coiled around Master Blood Demon's neck, letting out hissing sounds. Extinguish. Master Blood Demon thought that the sword chi aroused from within his body wouldn't be that powerful, so he attacked the sword chi with his bare hands. Blood splashed everywhere. Master Blood Demon let out a muffled groan. Good kid. Wait till I take you down. I'll make sure you won't be able to live or die. Even the bones of his left hand could be seen. Yi Chen's green lotus sword chi was like a saw blade. Not only did it cut open his protective Jin Yuan, it even left a bloody sword mark on his palm. Originally, if Master Blood Demon was a bit more cautious, he might not be injured even if he attacked the sword chi with his bare hands. However, he had treated this sword chi as an ordinary sword chi. Green Lotus sword chi is limited. Even if I arouse it completely, it won't be able to injure Master Blood Demon. Seems like I'll have to use the mid-grade sword inside the blood-red rock. I hope it's not trash. Yi Chen was very worried. He was worried that he would obtain a piece of trash that couldn't bear the infusion of Jin Yuan. In that case, he would have no choice but to retreat. He was not arrogant enough to contend against Master Blood Demon empty-handed. The storage ring flickered with a dim light, and the blood-red rock appeared in Yi Chen's hand. At this moment, Master Blood Demon approached and smashed his rod. Holding the sword hilt on the surface of the rock, Yi Chen welcomed the attack. Kacha! The blood-red rock exploded, sending countless fragments flying in all directions. Hum! Abruptly, a sword hum resounded, and a dazzling three-colored splendor filled the air, dazzling Master Blood Demon and Yi Chen's eyes. A pressure 3 times more powerful than an ordinary mid-grade artifact erupted. Damn it! This mid-grade artifact is not ordinary. Even if it's not an upper-grade artifact, it's not far from it. Master Blood Demon couldn't see through the details of the sword in Yi Chen's hand. He thought hatefully. At the same time, his attacks became even more ferocious, each of them fatal. Yi Chen shot a glance. The sword's scabbard was simple and unadorned. The three-colored splendor was emitted from the body of the sword when it was pulled out. However, this three-colored splendor was a bit special. It seemed to be superimposing on top of each other, not fusing with each other. There are 3 sword hilts. Yi Chen was astonished, but the situation before his eyes didn't allow him to think. With a swipe of his finger, a deep blue sword light soared into the sky, blocking Master Blood Demon's attack. Thunder attribute mid-grade swords. There are 2 more inside. Yi Chen finally understood what was going on. There were actually 3 swords inside the scabbard, and the one he had just pulled out was only one of them. However, none of this was important. What was important was that the sword was not trash. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to block Master Blood Demon's full power attack. Sky-shattering clouds. Holding the deep blue sword in his hand, Yi Chen circulated his Jin Yuan and slashed out with the sky-shattering clouds, which contained the intent of thunder and clouds. The air became chaotic as a half-meter thick and dozens of meters long thunderbolt shot out. Its frightening might was several times more ferocious than the heavenly thunder, giving off an irresistible feeling of insignificance. Facing this thunderbolt that had materialized as a sword light, Master Blood Demon was greatly shocked. He had no time to dodge, and neither could he. Circulating his Jin Yuan to the limit, he raised his staff to meet it. Chapter 345. The blood-red stick and the lightning sword light clashed, and the air suddenly condensed. The surrounding mud crumbled and floated in the air. The surrounding several hundred meters turned into a gravity-free zone. Even the Blood Demon doppelganger, which was waiting for an opportunity to launch a sneak attack, was instantly affected, as if it had sunk into a swamp. Ka! As if dozens of thunderbolts had gathered together, the condensed air suddenly evaporated. A berserk shockwave spread out in all directions at 5 times the speed of sound. This kind of frightening destructive power was enough to make any astral-reaching expert tremble in fear. Because of the clash between the two, 1,000 meters wide and 200 to 300 meters tall hole appeared in the ground. As for the mud and rocks, they were all shaken into powder. It was as if a faint red whirlwind had filled the entire hole. It had to be said that the Blood Demon doppelganger's luck was quite bad. It had been hovering around Yi Chen the whole time, looking for an opportunity to attack. Unfortunately, before it could find the opportunity, it had already lost its life. If the shockwave's strongest might was 10, then the Blood Demon doppelganger had suffered at least 80%, directly annihilating into nothingness. In the center of the hole, where the two had exchanged blows, snaking lightning snakes burst forth. The small ones were as thick as an arm and several dozen meters long, while the big ones were as thick as a waist and several hundred meters long. With a certain point as the center, the entire hole was covered in dense lightning snakes. As each lightning snake lashed out, the air was instantly torn apart and evaporated, leaving behind several dozen meters to several hundred meters deep scorch marks on the ground. Puff! As the lightning snakes filled the sky, Master Blood Demon's chest was scorched black. He opened his mouth and spurted out a mouthful of smoke before flying high in the air. It's unexpectedly powerful. An ordinary mid-grade sword can amplify attack power by 30 to 40%. The thundercloud mentality I've comprehended is secretly compatible with this thunder attribute mid-grade sword, pushing the attack power to a whole new level, reaching above 40%. But what's more important is not this. Using this thunder attribute mid-grade sword to display sky-shattering clouds gives me a carefree feeling, like a fish in water. Some obstructions are naturally eliminated. As soon as I use it, sky-shattering clouds naturally fuse to the 7th style. Yi Chen took a deep breath. The sky-shattering clouds had been fused to the 7th movement. According to his estimation, it would be equivalent to the power of the 8th movement of the Green Lotus Sword Arts, Green Lotus Sprouting. Moreover, it would not be 80%, but 100%. In terms of moves and mentality, Yi Chen's achievement in sky-shattering clouds was enough to compete with extreme astral-reaching experts. He was one step closer to his goal of dominating the astral-reaching realm. How is this possible? How did his combat power suddenly increase by so much? Even if he possesses a mid-grade prized artifact, he shouldn't be this powerful. Although Master Blood Demon had blocked Yi Chen's frontal attack, that fierce thunder snake had pierced through his protective Jin Yuan and caused him a lot of damage. Blood Demon Doppelganger, form. Having no time to tend to his injuries, Master Blood Demon fished out a blood-red bead from his storage ring. The bead shattered and blood mist pervaded the air, slowly condensing into a human figure. It was the Blood Demon avatar. However, the grade of this Blood Demon avatar couldn't compare to the one that had died. It was merely equivalent to a blood demon that had just stepped into the upper realm, and its battle power was similar to that of an ordinary early astral-reaching expert. Master Blood Demon had roamed South Rudra region for decades. It wasn't that he had never experienced the death of a blood demon avatar. However, for him, the death of a blood demon avatar was indeed heartbreaking, but it didn't affect him too much. This was because he had the ability to refine high-grade blood demons into blood demon beads. At present, he still had 3 blood demon beads in his storage ring. By crushing them, he would be able to condense a new blood demon avatar, making preparations for using the major blood demon body separating great art. Putting the deep blue longsword back into its scabbard, Yi Chen took out the second sword according to his senses. This sword had a clear color, and was clearly a wood attribute mid-grade artifact. The brilliance emitted from it wasn't sharp, but it was exceptionally tenacious, like the weeds of a wasteland, endlessly growing. The thunder attribute mid-grade sword is compatible with sky-shattering clouds, and the wood attribute mid-grade sword is compatible with Green Lotus Sword Arts. Let's test out its power first. As soon as the deep blue longsword entered his hand, the Green Lotus Jin Yuan in Yi Chen's body produced a subtle reaction with it. It was a sign of incomparable compatibility. Yi Chen wasn't the least bit surprised. Green Lotus Sword Arts was indeed a cultivation technique for sword artists, but it wasn't that it didn't have an attribute. This attribute was precisely the wood attribute. Therefore, among all the attributes, only the wood attribute was the most suitable for Yi Chen. Green Lotus Splitting Mountain. Raising the long sword high, Yi Chen slashed down. The earth split open like a canyon, and the sword light imprinted with a huge green lotus directly split the void in two, attacking Master Blood Demon. Major Blood Demon body separating great art, break for me. Bear. The Blood Demon doppelganger suddenly shrunk by a size. Boundless blood light converged on Master Blood Demon's body, burning fiercely. Its frightening might far surpassed the minor Blood Demon body separating great art. In fact, although the minor Blood Demon body separating great art seemed powerful, it had a flaw that was neither big nor small. This flaw was that it couldn't substantially increase an astral-reaching expert's battle power. After all, Master Blood Demon himself was only at the peak of late astral-reaching realm. How could a self-created martial skill be perfect? However, the major Blood Demon body separating great art was different. It was a martial skill that Master Blood Demon had obtained by chance, and its grade wasn't high Earth grade, but peak Earth grade. Without the major Blood Demon body separating great art, Master Blood Demon wouldn't be considered too powerful among peak astral reaching experts, and wouldn't have been so glorious in the past. Blood-red flames blazed on the mountain-like club. The flames seemed to have spirituality, condensing into clusters of skulls. These skulls were the size of a water tank, making the club seem several dozen meters long. Under Master Blood Demon's brandishing, it loudly smashed towards the sword light. Rumble. The whole cave had completely collapsed. Roaring chi power hurricanes soared into the sky, tearing apart layer after layer of tunnels. A lot of late astral reaching experts were caught in the range of the shockwaves. Some were lightly wounded, while others were heavily shredded into pieces by the overlapping chi power. Who is fighting? This commotion is way too frightening. It seems to be Master Blood Demon. Could it be Blood Sword? It should be more or less the same. In this burial mound, I'm afraid only Blood Sword could contend against Master Blood Demon. Both of them are famous for their ruthlessness. The commotion was too big, and more than one or two people had sensed it. More than 80% of the people knew that there were two frightening peak astral reaching experts battling. However, they couldn't think of anyone who could be Master Blood Demon's opponent. So, they naturally thought of Blood Sword. Blood Sword frowned. One of them was Master Blood Demon, while the other was very unfamiliar. Perhaps it was an ancient warrior who had been cultivating for many years. Interesting. I wonder when such a peak expert would appear in the South Rudra region. Blood Sword's figure flashed, cutting apart any obstacle in front of him as he rapidly approached the battlefield. That youngster is indeed frightening. Even Master Blood Demon couldn't do anything to him. Forget it, there are so many treasures in this burial mound. There is no need to provoke them. Zhang Xian heard the commotion behind him and clicked his tongue. With the amplification of Major Blood Demon body separating great art, Master Blood Demon finally managed to block out Yi Chen's sword. At this moment, he was hesitating whether continuing to fight with Yi Chen was worth it or not. He was conceited, but he was not conceited to the point of being ignorant. Killing a slightly weaker peak astral reaching expert was already extremely difficult, and the success rate was less than 70%. If he wanted to kill Yi Chen, it would not be easy. As long as he could ensure that he wouldn't get injured, it would be fine. Indeed, a mid-rank would attribute Great Sword is the most suitable for me. A single Green Lotus Mountain could contend against Master Blood Demon's full power attack. Wave after wave of Green Lotus Shen Yuan poured into the deep blue longsword. The sword aura on Yi Chen's body was endless, showing signs of becoming more and more intense. In a place very deep underground. Shoo! A slender blood shadow flashed past. With a puff sound, a late astral reaching expert's forehead was pierced through, and all of his profound yuan was devoured cleanly. At the same time, the same thing was happening in other places. A few hundred meters below Yi Chen, Zhang Xian roared, "Piss off." Arcs of light flashed, crisscrossing everywhere. Puff! The slender blood shadow's speed was too fast. Zhang Xian only saw a blur before his eyes as something drilled into his body, and his profound yuan was rapidly drained. Nearby, Blood Sword was also attacked by the slender blood shadow. Not good. It's the blood evil beast. Blood Sword was always calm and battle-hungry. However, at this moment, he only had one thought in his mind, and that was to escape, as far as possible. The slender blood shadow would not let Blood Sword escape so easily. It pierced through his shoulder, and this was only because Blood Sword's speed was too fast. Otherwise, this attack would not have pierced through his shoulder, but his forehead or heart. Flowing light blood escape. At the moment of life and death, a frightening light burst out from Blood Sword's eyes. He sliced through the slender blood shadow with one sword, and his body turned into a blood-red sword light, his speed increasing by 2 folds. Boom! The ground was broken open as Blood Sword rushed to the place where Yi Chen and Master Blood Demon were fighting. Blood Sword. Fear flashed through Master Blood Demon's face. Before Yi Chen showed up, he cared about Blood Sword the most. Seeing him here, his vigilance increased, as he was afraid that Blood Sword and Yi Chen would join hands and kill him in the mass burial mound. Blood Sword acted as if he did not see Master Blood Demon at all, and continued to escape crazily. What's going on? He's wounded. Yi Chen saw that there was a bloody hole on the left shoulder of the Blood Sword artist. With the latter's power that was not weaker than the Blood Demon, who would be able to wound him? No, the Blood Sword artist was escaping. Something was catching up. Yi Chen's scalp went numb. Without thinking, he followed closely behind the Blood Sword artist. He released his powerful soul power, and a thin blood shadow that was dozens of meters long traveled at a horrifying speed under the ground. Yi Chen could sense a threat that he had never felt before. He had a feeling that if he was not lucky, he would die in the graveyard. Ah! It's a blood evil beast. Master Blood Demon roared with an unimaginable fear in his voice. With a boom, he also started to run. In order to increase his speed beyond his peak, he had even ignited his own blood and chi. Shoo! The slender blood shadow caught up. The wrist-thick blood shadow split into three, chasing after the three like a forked tentacle. Without any suspense, the three were all wounded. Blood Sword's left leg was pierced through, and Master Blood Demon's abdomen was pierced through. Yi Chen was slightly better off. He had relied on his separating shadow flying art's super dodging ability, and his arm had only been scratched slightly. However, it had already taken away a lot of his profound chi, which was the foundation of a warrior's cultivation. Yi Chen took in a deep cold breath. It was too powerful. The three of them were powerful enough to survive one attack from the blood evil beast. However, the others did not have this ability. Run! The blood evil beast is coming out. Save me! All of a sudden, waves of screams arose from the mass burial mound. Chapter 346. What is this thing? Yi Chen looked like he was thinking while running. However, no matter how hard he tried, he could not recall anything about that thin blood shadow. According to his soul power, Yi Chen could tell that the power of that thin blood shadow had already surpassed the top astral reaching realm, and had reached the level of extreme astral reaching realm. Only extreme astral reaching realm creatures would have the power to kill top astral reaching realm warriors. Regardless, I have to stay away from this place. There is more than one blood shadow here. If I am surrounded by two of them, the chance of survival would be less than 20%. The attacking power of that thin blood shadow was extremely powerful. What was more horrifying was that its attacking speed was unimaginably fast. Yi Chen thought that even if he encountered an extreme astral reaching realm warrior, he would not be able to be wounded instantly. But this time, he had been wounded for the first time, and had lost some of his profound yuan. Shoo! A slight air-slicing sound was heard from behind. Yi Chen performed his separating shadow flying art almost subconsciously. His body was separated into two, and the next second, the blood shadow brushed past his neck. It seemed to have sensed that it had not hit anything, so it twisted to the right. Crack! The blood shadow had made a wrong judgment. The Yi Chen on the right was only a Zhenqi shadow. Break! Putting up his left index and middle fingers, the sword chi was condensed without being released. It sliced through the air, and with a swooshing sound, a part of the blood shadow had been cut down. Light blood escape. Explode. This time, Blood Sword had the experience. His spirit power sensed a fluctuation behind him, and he reacted immediately. A huge layer of bloody sword light exploded out of his body, creating a powerful shockwave. Although the shockwave could not do anything to the blood shadow, it had undoubtedly slowed down the speed of his attack, and increased his own speed. Shoo! His body was like a sword light as Blood Sword's body flashed once before disappearing, leaving Yi Chen and Master Blood Demon far behind. Master Blood Demon was indeed worthy of being a top-notch ghost general of the Nine Ghost Cult. He let out a low roar and swung both of his arms backwards. Like a river rowing a boat, he created a frightening propelling force and narrowly dodged the fatal attack. However, the Blood Demon doppelganger attached to his body had shrunk to the size of a child. Squeak! Right then, an extremely sharp scream was heard. An invisible pattern spread out crazily, covering Yi Chen and the other two. Not good. The faces of Blood Sword and Master Blood Demon changed. They felt dizzy, and their Jin Yuan, which had been pushed to the limit, slowed down. Yi Chen also felt the mental attack in the sound wave. He decisively bit the tip of his tongue and activated his sword intent to protect his mind, isolating himself from the mental attack. That was close. If this was a duel and the opponent used this move, he would definitely die. Yi Chen's scalp went numb as he pushed his Green Lotus Jin Yuan to its limit. The chi flow that shot out from his back was as sharp as a sword. One after another, it could kill a large group of peak-level late-clasping Yuan realm martial artists. Even early astral-reaching realm martial artists would be severely wounded if they were caught off guard. The soil was cut open. From the surface, the cut surface was as smooth as a mirror, as if it had been carefully polished. Little bastard, stay here. Master Blood Demon was quite a distance behind Yi Chen. When he saw Yi Chen fleeing in front of him, he revealed a sinister expression, revealing his snow-white teeth. With a shake of his hand, he shot a Blood Demon Pearl at Yi Chen. Explode! The Blood Demon Pearl could create a high-rank Blood Demon. Once it exploded, its power would be equivalent to the self-destruction of a high-rank Blood Demon. The blood-red shockwave directly blew the space in front of Yi Chen into nothingness. The air flow was strange, creating the illusion that time had stopped. Blood Sword Spell. Blood Sword and Master Blood Demon had the same idea. They both planned to leave Yi Chen behind to block the Blood Evil Beast for a while, giving them a chance. They believed that with Yi Chen's power, the Blood Evil Beast would not be able to kill him within 2 or 3 attacks. And in that time, they would have the power to escape. Yi Chen looked gloomy. Although Master Blood Demon's attack did not hurt him, the shockwave had decreased his speed by more than 50%, and it was still decreasing. Besides that, Blood Sword's sword chi was even more deadly. As long as he did not take any countermeasures, this sword attack would take away half of his life without a doubt. You guys forced me to do this. If you want to stay, then everyone will stay. Yi Chen turned around at high speed. His cold eyes were extremely frightening, containing a huge pressure. Green Lotus sprouts, Green Lotus reaches the sky. The blue longsword was taken out of its scabbard, and the sword light spread out. The first half and the second half of the 8th movement of the Green Lotus sword art were performed at the same time, targeting Blood Sword and Master Blood Demon. Brat, you are looking for death. Blood Sword felt that it was reasonable for him to attack Yi Chen. But, when Yi Chen started to attack him, the anger in his heart exploded like a volcano. This time, he would not let Yi Chen have it easy, just like how he had destroyed a rank 7 martial school with his terrifying patience. Master Blood Demon was a bit scared. Yi Chen was one of the most threatening enemies he had ever met. His power was not that strong, but that ruthlessness was not like a young man at all. It was as if he had been through hundreds and thousands of bloody battles. At the most crucial moment, he could even disregard his own life. The sword light went from bright to weak, and from weak to strong again. Because they had never seen the power of the Green Lotus sprouts before, Master Blood Demon and Blood Sword had both been at a disadvantage. Their speed had dropped from a couple of times the speed of sound to 0, especially Master Blood Demon, who had been wounded during the battle with Yi Chen and had backed out dozens of meters. Shoo! The thin blood shadow flashed past, blocking in front of the 3. It seemed like it was treating Yi Chen and the other 2 as food in its mouth. It was not in a hurry to attack. Instead, it stretched its rope-like body, blocking any possible way to break through. Brat, you are very brave. Blood Sword knew that there was no hope for him to break through, so he had to face the blood evil beast. If he ran away without a fight, he might become the beast's first target. Yu Chen looked calm, but his tone was full of killing intent. Blood Sword, you and I did not have any grudges before. Unfortunately, you have made a wrong move this time, and the consequences will not be good. Blood Sword was not angry, but laughed instead. Oh? What consequences? Die. Yu Chen spat out one word. Ha! This is the first time I have heard someone threaten me, Blood Sword. So nostalgic. It has been a long time since I last heard this kind of threat. Opening his mouth, Blood Sword showed his white teeth. Brat, do you know what kind of pain you will have to suffer for offending me? You can treat it as a joke. Wait until the moment you die, you will know what is unstoppable. I wanted to kill Jin Huang from the Floating Mountain School, but he is already dead. I want to kill the Ghost Corpse Man, and even the Blood Demon could not stop me, so he died as well. If I want to kill you, no matter where you run to, you will die. Therefore, from now on, you will be like a dog, running away as much as you want. Perhaps because he had never fought with Yu Chen before, Blood Sword did not care about Yu Chen's words at all. Only the Blood Demon suddenly felt a chill from the bottom of his heart. The longer he had been in contact with Yu Chen, the more he could feel his potential and his scariness. If he was a demon, then Yu Chen would be a killing god. If he did not get rid of him, he would not be able to feel at ease. Of course, Blood Sword was a necessary help. Not to mention killing Yu Chen, it would be hard for him to even escape from the mouth of the blood evil beasts. Blood Sword, what do you think? Without needing to say anything, the Blood Demon directly sent a Jin Yuan message to Blood Sword, asking for his opinion. Blood Sword said coldly, Blood Demon, do you think that anyone who offends me, the Blood Sword, will be able to live? That's good. If you and I join hands, we will have more than 40% chance of escaping from the mouth of the blood evil beasts. Then, we will kill this brat together, unless he dies in the mouth of the blood evil beasts. Of course, but I think he will be killed by the blood evil beasts. Blood Sword was very confident in himself. Just like the Blood Demon, he had been traveling in the South Rudra region for decades. There was nothing he had not been through. Things that were even more dangerous than the blood evil beasts had been a couple of times. On the other hand, Yu Chen was only a top astral reaching realm warrior who had just made his debut. Swoosh! Swoosh! After setting up the route, the blood evil beasts started to attack. Their thin earthworm-like bodies wriggled as two extra branches appeared on their heads and tails, stabbing toward Yu Chen and the other two. The last sword does not have any element, but I can feel the destructive chi from it. Let's use it to perform the fast sword. The blood evil beast's attacking speed was too fast. The normal attacking speed had too many flaws, and only the fast mentality could compete with it. Chin. The third sword was a black long sword, which was also the thickest one. Once it was taken out of the scabbard, a vacuum crack appeared in the air. It was the destructive power of the sword's speed and the sword's own power. Yu Chen did not pour a lot of Zhen Yuan into it. So powerful. Let's call this sword the Destruction Sword. Waving the Destruction Sword, the fast mentality burst out. Even the sword light could not be seen in the surreal space. One could only see the two thin blood shadows of the blood evil beasts being blocked out, unable to get any closer. Blood Sword and Blood Demon were both top astral reaching realm warriors, so they naturally had their own life-saving ace attacks. Blood Sword shook his arm, and the blood-colored longsword in his hands started to make a buzzing sound, vibrating at a high frequency. His body moved along with the sword, creating layers of afterimages, as if there were multiple mirrors around him. High-rank Earth Realm Secret Art, Mirror Image Sword Art. As for Blood Demon, he waved his blood-red stick, creating a blood-red swirl that contained a huge twisting power. Being in the center of the swirl, once the blood evil beast's attacks arrived, they would have to break through the swirl first. When the attacks reached him, both his power and speed would be reduced, so it would not be too hard for him to block them out. Major blood demon body separating great arts accompanying martial art, blood swirl. Rumble. The ground had collapsed. When the three were battling with the blood evil beasts, they did not look as bad as before. Of course, they were all clear that it would be fine if they could only burst out their potential for a short period of time. But once the battle dragged on, they would not be able to escape death. Therefore, their current resistance was only to find a chance to escape. All of a sudden, a human figure jumped out of the ground. In order to escape from the blood evil beasts, this person did not care about where he was going. He had somehow managed to get in between the three, which was the closest to the blood evil beasts. Now is the time. Yi Chen and the other two were all quick-witted warriors. They immediately backed out, pushing their speed to its peak, choosing 3 different directions to increase their speed. The blood evil beast was a bit confused, not knowing which one to chase. If it could only chase after one, then it might as well kill the prey in front of it first. For it, as long as it could devour the essence yuan, it did not matter who it was. Ah! The man's pupils were enlarged, his expression horrified as he watched the blood evil beast's tentacles break through his protective Jin Yuan and drill into his body. Chapter 347. On the surface of the burial mound, a stone tablet cracked open, and Yichen jumped out with the destruction sword in his hand, landing on an even bigger stone tablet nearby. Focusing his eyes, Yichen's gaze landed on Blood Demon and Blood Sword, who had just escaped from the surface of the ground. A cold light flashed in Blood Sword's eyes as the killing intent spread out. His pitch-black pupils started to turn red as he locked onto Yichen, his cracked mouth looking extremely creepy. Blood Sword. Blood Demon's lips moved slightly as he sent a Jin Yuan message to Blood Sword. Blood Sword tightened his grip on the sword hilt, no need to say more. This little bastard's life will be mine. You support me from the side. You. Being looked down upon, Blood Demon was a bit annoyed. But seriously, right now, he was indeed not Blood Sword's opponent. The combined damage from Yi Chen and the blood evil beasts had reduced his battling power by at least 20 to 30%. There was only one blood demon pearl left in his storage ring, which could only be used in a life or death situation. A forced smile appeared on his face as Blood Demon said, "All right, you will be the main force, and I will support you. I hope you can kill him with one attack." He thought to himself, this guy is not that easy to deal with. If I want to kill him, I will have to pay a price. Wait until both of you are badly wounded, and your battling power will be greatly reduced. Then, don't blame me for being cruel. All of your treasures will be mine. 1 against 2. Although it is a bit difficult, it is not impossible to wound one of them. That thing is coming. Dispelling the thought in his mind, Yi Chen's body flashed as he flew toward the fortress. It ran away. Blood Demon was a bit confused. When he heard the noise underground, he could not help but be shocked. There were at least 3 to 4 blood evil beasts rushing over. He did not expect Yi Chen to be 1 step ahead of them. With that thought in mind, Blood Demon was even more scared of Yi Chen. He said to Blood Sword, "Let's go as well." Inside the fortress, Yi Chen said without beating around the bush, "There are blood demon creatures rushing over from the burial mound. I suggest you leave now. Otherwise, you will not be able to leave in the future." Blood demon creatures. What do they look like? Even you can't handle it? Little North asked in surprise. Yi Chen nodded, "They are very powerful. Almost no one under the Sea of Souls realm can handle them. Even I am not their opponent. They are shaped like snakes, but they do not have heads or tails. They are as thick as an arm, and dozens of meters to hundreds of meters long. Their attacking speed is incredibly fast. It's as thick as an arm and dozens of meters long. It can't be a blood evil beast, right? Chi-Bei Duo's faces turned pale as if they had thought of something. Blood evil beast? Yi-Chen couldn't associate the thin blood shadow with beasts. Bei explained, blood demons are born from the blood and resentment of humans or beasts. Blood evil beasts are born from the essence and resentment of blood demons. Blood evil beasts are born from the essence and resentment of blood demons. Blood evil beasts of the same level are many times more powerful than blood demons. Extremely powerful blood evil beasts can even transform into beast form. That is their ultimate form. Once a blood evil beast transforms into beast form, anything of the same level will be its prey, including humans. So powerful. Yi-Chen hadn't seen any beast-shaped blood evil beasts in the mass burial mound. Presumably, they were all ordinary blood evil beasts. But, ordinary blood evil beasts had the power to kill them. If they were to run into beast-shaped blood evil beasts, it would be almost certain death. Yeah, blood evil beasts are the top predators in the blood demon battlefield. But, the probability of them appearing is very low. They only appear once in dozens of years. Since they have come out, let's leave quickly. I guess it won't be long before those hidden astral reaching realm experts come to the blood demon battlefield. Hidden astral reaching realm experts should be extreme astral reaching realm experts. I guess only a few of them can contend against blood evil beasts. Yi-Chen nodded. He had already reached his goal of going to the mass burial mound, so there was no need to stay in the blood demon battlefield any longer. Moreover, he had heard Thunder Freer say that the closer one approached the limit of thunder mentality, the harder it would be to comprehend. Normally, one could only go to the first of the 3 layers to comprehend it. That was the origin of the thunder mentality. Blood demon battlefield was a broken space without any sky. Who? Thousands of miles away from the Demon Defiance Fort, next to a conveyor stone door, a red whirlpool continued to speed up. Countless human figures disappeared within. He has come out. Didn't Master Jin Huang and Master Rock kill him? Things are not looking good. Let's have the soul-chasing bird follow him immediately. Yi-Chen had calculated everything. He knew that Jin Huang would not have made any preparations, since the blood demon battlefield was huge. Even if he went in, he might not be able to find Yi-Chen. Once he came out, he would be out of Jin Huang's sight. Therefore, there must be some spies outside. Killing one was killing, killing two was also killing. Yi-Chen took out his blue longsword and slashed at the astral reaching realm expert whose soul power had sensed something strange. He has found me. The Bloodstone Islands had 36 islands in total. Before Yi-Chen entered the blood demon battlefield, there were dozens of groups of people chasing after him, and each group had 3 astral reaching realm warriors. Therefore, when the dozens of groups were divided into 36 groups, each group only had 1 astral reaching realm warrior. Only the main island of the Bloodstone Islands had 2 astral reaching realm warriors. Right then, the astral reaching realm warrior who was about to release the soul-chasing bird had just made a move when a sharp sword chi pierced through the air. The extreme speed made him extremely frightened. Rumble. With the support of the mid-rank great sword, the sword chi released by Yi-Chen was unstoppable. It cut open a gap on the edge of the island, and that astral reaching realm warrior was immediately cut in half. What? Who is this guy? He even dares to kill the outer master of the floating island? What a powerful sword chi. He must be at least a top astral reaching realm warrior. Don't mess with him. Top astral reaching realm warriors are something that even rank 7 martial institutions are afraid of. If we mess with them, there will be no place for us in the whole South Rudra region. Everyone on the island was discussing, but no one knew who Yi-Chen was. Even if they had some suspicions, no one dared to say anything. Looking around, Yi-Chen was not surprised at all. The Windy Nation was one of the weaker ones among the 36 small nations, but it still had about 10 astral-reaching realm warriors. A relatively powerful small nation like the Rudra Nation would have at least 30 to 40 astral-reaching realm warriors. Adding them all together, the 36 small nations would have at least 600 to 700 astral-reaching realm warriors. The top 10 medium nations would have even more astral-reaching realm warriors, at least 2,000 to 3,000. The top 4 nations would have more astral-reaching realm warriors than the 36 small nations, and top 10 nations combined, more than 5,000. Therefore, in the whole South Rudra region, there would be close to 10,000 astral-reaching realm warriors. Adding the astral-reaching realm warriors who did not belong to any martial institutions and liked to travel around, 20,000 would not be a problem. However, among the 20,000 people, the ones who could be called top astral-reaching realm warriors did not exceed 50, including the top 10 sword artists and 7 blade artists. Extreme astral-reaching realm warriors were even fewer, which could be counted with 2 hands. A top astral-reaching realm warrior was still quite intimidating. Even rank 7 martial institutions would not want to mess with them, unless they had an extreme astral-reaching realm warrior. Of course, rank 6 martial institutions would not care about top astral-reaching realm warriors, since they had Sea of Souls realm warriors. If a Sea of Souls realm warrior wanted to kill a top astral-reaching realm warrior, he would be able to do so from hundreds of li away. However, Yichen dared to kill even the outer master of the Floating Mountain Martial School. Regardless of his background or his insanity, he would not be someone to be messed with. Shoo! Extending his body, Yichen broke through the air and left the Bloodstone Islands. Above the endless lake water, clouds and mist curled up. The true spirit continent has 3 layers. The first one is the surprising sky, which only astral-reaching realm warriors have the power to enter. The second one is the extreme void, where only Sea of Souls realm warriors can survive. The third one is the closest one to the outside world, which is where life and death realm warriors are active. Although my power is at the top astral-reaching realm, I still cannot go to the extreme void. What was in the extreme void, Yichen did not know, and what was in the surprising sky, Yichen did not know either. Right now, he was going to the surprising sky. A beam of blue light flashed in the sky as Yichen broke through the clouds and rushed 10,000 meters above the clouds. There seemed to be a thin layer there. Break! Condensing his Jin Yuan, Yichen pointed at the thin layer. Puff! The thin layer was broken, and endless thunder and lightning poured down, which contained a horrifying heat and sharp wind blades. Thunder Yuan Qi, Fire Yuan Qi, Wind Yuan Qi. Yichen knew that these were all kinds of Yuan Qi in the surprising sky. Although the Yuan Qi below the surprising sky had different elements, it was actually very complicated and not very powerful. Even clasping Yuan realm warriors would be able to compete with it. However, the Yuan Qi in the surprising sky was extremely pure, without any impurities. The second the thin layer was broken, under the impact of all kinds of Yuan Qi, even peak-level late-clasping Yuan realm warriors would be washed into ashes. Only the protective Jin Yuan would be able to handle this kind of pure Yuan Qi attack without being damaged at all. Flashing his body, Yichen flew into the surprising sky, and that thin layer was quickly repaired. This is the surprising sky. Yichen looked over and saw that there were only a few colors left in the whole world. The Thunder Yuan Qi was that crystal blue, like a blue river, washing everywhere, clearly separated from the other Yuan Qi. The Water Yuan Qi was crystal green, interweaving with each other. The Fire Yuan Qi was crystal red, and wherever it went, the horrifying heat could burn everything. Traveling through all kinds of Yuan Qi, Yichen found the rare Wood Yuan Qi. Sizzle! 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 Once the Wood Yuan Qi touched Yichen's protective Jin Yuan, it reacted immediately. It squeezed into his body and pushed out all the impurities in the Wood Yuan Qi. Pure Wood Yuan Qi contains the vitality of the wood. Looking carefully, the arrangement of the Wood Yuan Qi is very mysterious. With my understanding of the wood mentality, I can only see about 80% of it. Some of the things are very hard to understand. Yi Chen let out a breath. He knew that it was just like what Thunder Freer had said. If he wanted to train his mentality to the extreme, he could only do it in the surprising sky. The other places would be flawed after all. As for the extreme void sky above the surprising sky, it was the place to train the profound meaning. As for the top sky, Yi Chen did not know what kind of secrets it had. Closing his eyes, Yi Chen sensed the arrangement of the wood yuan qi, hoping that he could learn the true meaning of the wood mentality from this arrangement, so that he could prepare to reach the extreme astral reaching realm. Chapter 348. On the sixth day after Yi Chen entered the stunning sky, the first extreme astral reaching expert arrived at the Bloodstone Islands. He was wearing a white robe and a bamboo hat. As he walked, he seemed like a fluttering white cloud, carrying an indescribable sharpness. The leader of the 7 great bladesmen, the white-robed bladesman. It's the white-robed bladesman. I heard that his saber intent has already reached consummation. He is good at the state of wind. With one saber strike, the saber chi is like the wind. It is hard to defend against, and it is everywhere. Sword artists and blade artists are the easiest to become extreme astral reaching realm warriors. Among the known extreme astral reaching realm warriors, there are 3 who are either sword artists or blade artists. But, if we were to talk about the most powerful extreme astral reaching realm warrior, it would be the head of the top dozens of sword artists, the core head master of the Heartless Martial School, Pei Yudao. It's hard to say. The white-robed blade artist has the record of killing 7 late astral reaching realm warriors with 1 blade attack. No one in the South Rudra region has been able to break that record. Everyone on the islands was shocked by the arrival of the white-robed blade artist. As long as the Sea of Souls realm warriors did not show up, the white-robed blade artist would be equivalent to the king of astral reaching realm warriors. His deterrent power was even greater than that of a rank 7 martial institution. Every martial institution would take pride in raising an expert like the white-robed blade artist, since it was not easy to raise a Sea of Souls realm warrior. It would require a huge amount of luck and talent. Blood evil beasts are hard to come by in decades. Inside their bodies, there is a blood evil stone that can train the willpower. The more powerful the willpower, the higher the chance of reaching the Sea of Souls realm. God is helping me. The white-robed blade artist's residence was quite far from the Bloodstone Islands. This time, he had come to the Star Regional Lake in search of some spirit herbs. Who would have thought that he would hear the news of a blood evil beast appearing in the blood demon battlefield, so he immediately rushed over. The blood evil stone inside the blood evil beast was a key to breaking through to the Sea of Soul realm. Talented people could become Sea of Soul realm experts even faster, and experts stuck at the peak of late astral reaching realm would have a sliver of a chance to break through. It was simply a must-have item for martial artists under Sea of Soul realm. The second layer of the blood demon battlefield rejects Sea of Soul realm experts. Inside, extreme astral reaching experts are the kings. Even if one's luck is bad, one can still obtain 1 or 2 blood evil stones. Restraining his excitement, the white-robed blade artist stepped out and entered the blood-red whirlpool. Second floor of the blood demon battlefield. Blood sword artist and master blood demon didn't teleport out, they stayed in the demon-defying fortress. 5 years ago, in the Black Dragon Empire's auction, a blood evil stone suddenly appeared and sold for more than 400,000 mid-rank soul stones. That stone was not that big, but it was enough to make the core master of the Floating Mountain Martial School become an extreme astral reaching realm warrior, and have the hope of breaking through to the Sea of Souls realm. If you and I can get a blood evil stone, it would not be hard for us to become extreme astral reaching realm warriors. It would be impossible to say that the blood demon was not tempted. Otherwise, he would not have stayed in the fortress. Blood Swordsman said, "Do you think we have the strength to seize the blood evil stone?" It is impossible to take the blood evil stone, but it is not impossible to get the blood evil stone. When all the blood evil beasts get out of the mass burial mound, that will be our chance. The blood fiend stone was not as useful as the blood fiend stone, but as long as there were enough of it, it was still very useful. Blood fiend stone. Blood sword was a bit tempted. Reaching his current level, it was almost impossible to make any progress. If the willpower could be trained, then it would be much easier for him to comprehend the mentality, which would also be useful for his sword intent. More importantly, the willpower would be the key to breaking through to the Sea of Souls realm. Who would not want to become a Sea of Souls realm warrior and be on the same level as the rank 6 martial institutions? By then, the whole South Rudra region would be his backyard. And the blood demon did not invite the blood sword artist out of kindness. He was willing to split the loot equally, but just in case. If there were more blood evil beasts in the deeper parts of the mass burial mound, then the two of them would have a higher chance of escaping. If one of them ran into a blood evil beast, then there would be no chance of survival. Alright, it is settled then. Don't play any tricks. Blood sword was still a bit scared of the blood demon. The blood demon laughed, you don't have to worry. If we work together, then we will both benefit. If we split, then we will both lose. You and I both understand this logic. Ha! Wait till this is over, I will make that brat pay a huge price. The blood sword artist looked cold, his face twisted. Hearing him, the blood demon was secretly gloating. His identity was a bit special, and he could not show himself in front of the world. Therefore, he could only chase after Yi Chen, and did not dare to destroy the Sky Cloud Martial School directly. If he did that, then he might be surrounded by a lot of powerful warriors, and might even attract the attention of Sea of Souls realm warriors. However, the blood sword artist was different. It was not the first time he had destroyed a martial institution, and those Sea of Souls realm warriors did not care about it. There were a lot of martial institutions in the South Rudra region anyway, so one more or one less would not make any difference. The third sky. The first sky, the surprising sky. The pure wood yuan qi is the closest to the origin of the wood mentality. This is indeed true. Outside of the surprising sky, trying to learn the wood mentality from plants would be unimaginably difficult. But here, all of the mysteries are contained within. All I need to do is to learn it face to face. In just a couple of days, Yi Chen had made great progress in his wood mentality. Of course, it was because of his comprehensive ability, but it was also because of the surprising sky. Green lotus sprout. Opening his eyes, Yi Chen's pupils shone with a hint of green light. Chin. The blue longsword was taken out of its scabbard, and a beam of blue sword light merged with the endless wood yuan qi. Then, something shocking happened. Amidst the wood yuan qi that was like a green river, a green lotus slowly grew. The process that seemed both real and fake made people feel as if they were watching a green lotus seed grow into a green lotus. Shortly after, a lotus flower bloomed in the center of the green lotus, revealing a faint purple color. Green lotus sky reaching. After throwing out a sword attack, Yi Chen's second sword attack followed right after. The green lotus seemed to have eaten a great tonic, growing to dozens of meters tall within a second. The lotus reached up to the sky, and its roots dug into the wood yuan qi. Who? Slowly letting out a breath, a smile appeared on Yi Chen's face. With the green lotus sword art as a reference, it was indeed much easier than creating his own sword movements and mentalities. In just a couple of days, his wood mentality had almost reached the same level as his thunder mentality. It had also reached its limit, and the eighth movement of the green lotus sword art, the green lotus sprout, was even more powerful than the sky-shattering clouds, and even more powerful than the kill heart sword attack. There seems to be a problem. The thunder mentality has reached its limit, and it is starting to be out of sync with the cloud mentality. The wood mentality is the same, and it is starting to diverge from the water mentality. It seems like once I break through the scope of the mentality, everything will automatically separate. Only when my realm is high enough can they continue to complement each other. Ever since the thunder mentality had reached its limit, Yi Chen's self-created sword movement, the sky-shattering clouds, was no longer dominated by the cloud mentality, but by the thunder mentality. The thunder mentality even started to reject the cloud mentality, thinking that the cloud mentality was a burden that would stop it from breaking through to a higher realm. I will call you Greenwood Sword. Among the three swords, only the Destruction Sword had a name. Yi Chen thought for a while, and decided to give the blue longsword a name that was easy to understand, Greenwood. It is not that easy to break through the scope of the mentality. Let me start to train the water mentality. In the stunning sky, there were only the more common elemental energies, such as metal elemental energy, wood elemental energy, water elemental energy, fire elemental energy, earth elemental energy, thunder elemental energy, wind elemental energy, and so on. The ethereal elemental energy was almost extinct, and cloud elemental energy was one of them. Among all the Yuan Qi, the water Yuan Qi was more like a river. Some of the water Yuan Qi was like an ancient well without any ripples, while some had huge waves, and some were sparkling. All the water-related sceneries outside the shocking sky could be seen in the water Yuan Qi. Some of the sceneries that could not be seen could also be seen and sensed. Astral reaching realm warriors use mentality as the king. Once my water mentality reaches its limit, combined with the wood mentality, even extreme astral reaching realm warriors would not be able to do anything to me. There were 3 conditions to become an extreme astral reaching realm warrior, and Yi Chen had already fulfilled 2 of them. One was to have a mid-rank defensive artifact and an attacking artifact, and the second was to have his mentality at an extremely high level. If it were not for his cultivation, Yi Chen would have already become an extreme astral reaching realm warrior. Unknowingly, another 5 days had passed. There were a lot of astral reaching realm warriors gathered on the Bloodstone Islands. They had all heard about the appearance of the blood evil beasts in the blood demon battlefield. None of them were prepared to leave, but they did not dare to go in recklessly either. They wanted to see if they could find their own fortune. The core master of the Heartless Martial School, Pei Yudao, is here. Someone in the crowd yelled, and everyone looked over. Above the Star Regional Lake, a human figure flew over at an extreme speed. Shoo! The figure landed on the nearest island. He was wearing blue robes, carrying 2 swords on his back. His long hair fluttered in the wind, and he looked to be in his 30s or 40s. Pei Yudao was extremely low-key. He did not even look at the crowd as he stepped into the blood-red swirl. Soon, another 2 people arrived at the same time. The one in the north was wearing a big red robe. He had a bulky body, and as he moved, a fierce blade aura spread out from time to time, leaving blade marks on the surface of the lake. The one in the south was even more aggressive. On his way over, he purposely released a powerful chi flow, which smashed into some of the astral reaching realm warriors on the way, but none of them dared to say anything. The core master of the Fire Spirit Martial School, Gold Rock. The core master of the Floating Mountain Martial School, Shin Tujue. They all say that Gold Rock is aggressive, but Shin Tujue is even more aggressive than him. Thinking about it, the Floating Mountain Martial School is the leader of the 6-rank 6 martial institutions, and Shin Tujue himself is an extreme astral reaching realm warrior. It is inevitable for him to be so arrogant. Everyone stood far away, discussing in a low voice. Shin Tujue, I heard that the core master of the Floating Mountain Martial School, Jin Huang, was troubled by a brat. I wonder if it is true or not. As a core master of a rank 6 martial school, Gold Rock was quite well informed. After all, Yi Chen was not a nobody. He was the #1 warrior in the Hidden Dragon rank, and his fame among the young warriors was unparalleled in the past 1,000 years. It would be hard not to notice him. Shin Tujue sneered, just a little bastard. This time, I am here for the blood evil stone, and I will take care of him along the way. I, Shin Tujue, would like to see how many heads he has. Hee, be careful not to fail miserably. Gold Rock teased. Ha, this kind of small character is not worth my attention. The possibility of failing miserably will not happen to me. After I kill him, I will go and destroy the Sky Cloud Martial School. I believe the expert behind him will not go against the Floating Mountain Martial School for a dead martial genius. Shen Tujue didn't put Yi Chen in his eyes at all. This time, he had volunteered to kill Yi Chen in the Blood Demon battlefield. In any case, this matter was nothing more than a trivial matter to him. He could settle it with a wave of his hand, so why wouldn't he do it? As the two entered the Blood Demon battlefield, the number of extreme astral reaching realm warriors had reached 4. Someone else is here. I have never heard of this person. It seems like the hidden extreme astral reaching realm warriors in the South Rudra region are not the ones on the surface. The 5th extreme astral reaching realm warrior had arrived. Chapter 349. The astral reaching realm warriors in the South Rudra region are getting weaker and weaker. These people are not even worth 2 or 3 attacks from me. His long black robe fluttered in the air. The speaker's voice was dry like wood and stone, sounding like 2 pieces of flint colliding with each other. His eyes were full of disdain and cruelty. Brother Whitebone, the Blood Demon has been in the Blood Demon battlefield a lot. Let's go in and meet him first and learn about the situation inside. Then, we can discuss the plan to kill the blood evil beasts. There was another person right next to the black-robed man. His robe was purple, and there was an abstract drum embroidered on his chest. Just like the drum, his body was extremely short, and his round belly was like a huge millstone. The black-robed man waved his sleeves. Sound wave, I will leave the task of finding the blood demon to you. I don't have the time for that. My goal is the blood evil stone. As for the plan, I don't need it. The short man with the big belly was indeed one of the 108 ghost warriors from the 9 ghost cult. He forced a laugh, since the white bone ghost warrior was one of the 3 most powerful ones among all the ghost warriors. He had always been arrogant, and it would be impossible for him to discuss the plan. So, he said helplessly, all right then. Go in. With both of his hands behind his back, the white bone ghost warrior lightly flew into the blood-red swirl, and the sound wave ghost warrior followed. No one on the island could recognize them. Shocking sky. There was no day or night, and the inside was filled with amazing colors at all times. These different colors were clearly separated from each other, and did not interfere with each other. Water is both hard and soft. When it is hard, it can break through mountains and drown the land. When it is soft, it flows without a sound. This is the limit of the poetic perspective of water. Soaking in the water yuan qi, Yi Chen closed his eyes and tried to feel the mysteries of the water yuan qi. From time to time, he would throw out a sword attack, simulating the things he had learned. The sword attack he had thrown out seemed normal, but once it was infused into the water yuan qi, it immediately brought up a huge wave. A long torrent of water shot out directly, wreaking havoc everywhere. The torrent slowed down and suddenly turned into a small stream, flowing without a sound. A peaceful and gentle poetic perspective rose up. 2 hours. 6 hours. 1 day. 3 days. After 3 days, Yi Chen took out his greenwood sword. He shook his wrist, and the bright blue sword light was warm like water. It was like a clear spring, but also like a flood. Rumble. All of the water yuan qi in the area exploded under the influence of the sword light. Every single one of those water drops could kill an early astral reaching realm warrior. The concept of water has finally reached the limit. Who? Slowly letting out a long breath, Yi Chen opened his eyes. In the past, his eyes were sharp, but now, there was a hint of gentleness in them. It was like a diamond that had lost its edges and corners, or a gem that had lost its extravagance, returning to its original simplicity. I wonder how powerful the Green Lotus sword art would be when I combine the extreme water mentality and wood mentality. With the same set of sword skills, the stronger the concept, the more powerful the sword skill would be. Now, Yu Qin had comprehended the concept of water and the concept of wood to the limit. If he took another step forward, it would surpass the scope of the concept. Even he couldn't estimate the power of the combination. Green Lotus Mountain splits. The water yuan qi was separated, and a massive green lotus-shaped sword light was thrown out. Right then, all of the water yuan qi in the area seemed to be a bit messed up. Buzz! A horrifying sword intent spread out like a tornado, spreading out at an extreme speed. It was something that Yu Qin had not expected. Completed sword intent. The sword light sliced open the river-like water yuan qi and the metal yuan qi that was connected to the water yuan qi. Yu Qin turned a blind eye to it, as all of his attention was focused on the changes of the sword intent. After absorbing a huge amount of sword-shaped plants, Yu Qin's sword intent had stopped at around 97%, while the completed sword intent was 99%. Do not underestimate this little bit of difference. According to normal progress, it would take at least 1.5 years, or at most dozens of years, for Yu Qin to reach the completed sword intent. Yu Qin had a feeling that no matter how many sword-shaped plants he had, he would not be able to reach the completed sword intent that easily. He would be able to reach 98% at most, which would be very close to the completed sword intent. After all, once the sword intent was completed, it would already be the limit. Judging on power, the completed sword intent would not be as powerful as the completed sword intent. It would just be a little more experience and comprehension, which would allow him to reach the next level. There is a misty long sword in the middle of my eyebrows. It is extremely surreal. The soul ocean was the place where the soul power resided. Yu Qin had almost noticed the abnormality in there within a second. He was a bit surprised, as he had never heard of anything like this happening to the completed sword intent. Was it inevitable, or was it just a coincidence? Or did it have something to do with the Battle King's sword intent? Especially the immortal mentality. After thinking for a long time, Yu Qin still couldn't figure it out. Only at this moment did he realize how lacking his own knowledge was. Actually, he couldn't be blamed. Sky Cloud's sect was merely an 8th grade sect at its peak, and the strongest among them were astral reaching experts. They themselves didn't know many things, and couldn't compare to a 7th grade sect with a profound background, not to mention a 6th grade sect with thousands of years of history. Living in such an environment, the things Yu Qin knew were limited, and the high-level knowledge was even more of a blur to his eyes. Before the completed sword intent, its might wasn't inferior to other people's completed sword intent. Now that my sword intent has reached completion, its might has completely surpassed the scope of the completed sword intent. Yu Qin didn't think about the things he couldn't figure out anymore. He only knew that because of his comprehension of the mentality, his sword intent had naturally broken through the shackles and rushed into a whole new realm. If he could contend against extreme astral reaching experts before, then the current him wouldn't need to be afraid of any extreme astral reaching expert. He had a premonition that the abnormality in his soul ocean was his opportunity, a sign that he was ahead of others. Blood Demon Battlefield, Mass Burial Mound. Ha, White Robe Blade Artist, you've been here for so long, but you still haven't taken care of a single blood evil beast. It seems like you're not worthy of your reputation. Shen Tujue blew away the incoming blood evil beast with one palm attack as he mocked the White Robe Blade Artist. The White Robe Blade Artist frowned. Although he was the first one to arrive at the Blood Demon battlefield, the blood evil beasts inside would gather at the mass burial mound after slaughtering human experts. There were rarely any of them alone. With his power, dealing with one blood evil beast was already a bit difficult, not to mention 2 or more. Hurricane Cut. Being mocked by others was always a bit annoying. The White Robe Blade Artist activated his Jin Yuan and threw out a blade attack towards the blood evil beast's thin earthworm-like body. Shoo! Shoo! The air vibrated, and the blood evil beast's body was split into 3 parts. Only by taking out the blood evil stone can the blood evil beast not recover. The white-robed blade artist squinted his eyes as he waved his long blade in a crisscross pattern. A triangular hole suddenly appeared on the blood evil beast's body. The powerful blade chi sliced through that triangular blood shadow, revealing a fist-sized blood-red stone. Shoo! Using his left hand, the blood-red stone landed in the white-robed blade artist's hand. Finally got a blood evil stone. The white-robed blade artist let out a breath. Speaking of which, he had to thank the other extreme astral reaching realm warriors. Without them, he would have been attacked by all the blood evil beasts. It is only one blood evil beast. Let me take care of it. Shen Tujue's body was covered with a dark purple light. Invisibly, the white-robed blade artist and the rest of the people seemed to see a shadow on his body. They saw Shen Tujue make a grabbing gesture in the air, grabbing the middle part of the blood evil beast's body. Break! Zhen Yuan exploded, and a small part of the blood evil beast's body was ripped off by Shen Tujue. There was a blood evil stone inside. Martial spirit. The core master of the fire spirit martial school, Qi Jinyan, yelled out. It is not a complete martial spirit. It is just a prototype. The core master of the heartless martial school, Pei Yudao, took a deep breath and said slowly. Martial spirit embryo. Indeed. The white bone ghost warrior had a serious look on his face. It was said that sword artists had sword intent, and blade artists had blade intent. Among all the warriors, they would stand out from the rest. However, there was a balance in everything. When anyone reached the Sea of Souls realm, they would be able to form their own martial spirit. The so-called martial spirit was the embodiment of the martial intent, while the sword intent was the sword intent. Obviously, the sword intent and the martial spirit were not equal existences. Once the sword artist trained the sword intent to completion and reached the Sea of Souls realm, the sword intent would transform into the sword spirit, and only then would the sword spirit and the martial spirit be equal. In other words, in order to become a Sea of Souls realm warrior, one would have to have enough martial intent or sword intent. Normally, the martial intent would not be able to compete with the sword intent because of its fragmentation. But, when the martial intent was extremely condensed, it would have the tendency to turn into the martial spirit, which would be the prototype of the martial spirit, which would be more powerful than the completed sword intent. Although the attacking power of the martial spirit was not as powerful as the sword spirit, the martial spirit could not only amplify the attacking power, but also the defense. This was something that the sword spirit could not compete with. The sword spirit was the embodiment of the attacking power, and it had never changed. Correspondingly, whether it was below the Sea of Souls realm or above, the sword artist represented the attacking power, but the defense was relatively weak. There were always gains and losses, and the sword artist had always been an extreme existence. Of course, the sword spirit was much harder to condense than the martial spirit, and the sword artist would find it harder to become a Sea of Souls realm warrior than the majority of the warriors. The advantages they had in the beginning would become disadvantages when they reached the Sea of Souls realm. Even so, there were still many people who chose to become sword artists, choosing the extreme attacking power. Therefore, many warriors would not refine their martial spirit when they had enough martial intent, but would directly enter the Sea of Souls realm and comprehend the sword intent. During the Sea of Souls realm, they would refine the sword intent into the sword spirit. This kind of method had a certain degree of danger, and not everyone could catch up to the top. This Shen Tujue has actually condensed his martial intent to such a degree. Seems like he's not far from breaking through to the Sea of Souls realm. Whitebone Ghost General was well aware of the terror of the martial spirit. Even if it was just the prototype of the martial spirit, its irresistible martial intent was not something an ordinary extreme astral reaching expert could contend against. After all, before the martial intent condensed into the prototype of the martial spirit, its effects were rather scattered, and could not be reflected in the slightest. On the other hand, the sword intent condensed into the shape of a sword, concentrating its power at a single point, allowing it to be utilized at an early stage. The blade intent was the same. Hehe, with this blood evil stone, my martial intent will become even more powerful. Refining the martial intent into the martial spirit might not be an impossible matter. Holding the blood evil stone, Shen Tujue laughed heartily. Chapter 350. Pei Yudao frowned. There were also strong and weak extreme astral reaching realm warriors. Before coming here, he did not think anyone could be his opponent, since all of his martial arts were top-rank Earth realm, and he had trained them to a very high level. His sword intent had also reached perfection, without any flaws, which was the true extreme astral reaching realm. Who would have thought that Shen Tujue had already formed a martial spirit before reaching the Sea of Souls realm? Although it was not complete, it was still in its embryonic form. It seems like that blood evil stone from the auction 5 years ago had given Shen Tujue quite a lot. Pei Yudao slowly let out a breath, his expression relaxing. Even if Shen Tujue had formed his martial spirit, he would not be afraid, since battles were not one-sided. Taking out his long sword, Pei Yudao found an opportunity and slashed out. Puff! 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 In the sky, sharp flashes crisscrossed. At this moment, besides Shen Tujue, no one could tell how many sword attacks Pei Yudao had thrown out. Even with the advantage of his martial spirit, Shen Tujue could only barely tell. The details were a bit blurry. The flashes disappeared, and the blood evil beast that had just jumped out of the ground was sliced into pieces. The middle piece quickly disintegrated, revealing the blood evil stone inside. Impressive. No wonder Pei Yudao has the title of the #1 astral reaching realm warrior in the whole South Rudra region. Far away from the mass grave, some powerful astral reaching realm warriors were secretly shocked, knowing that they would not have the slightest bit of power to resist under Pei Yudao's sword attack. Rock Heart Cut. Iron Bone Godly Claw. Gold Rock and White Bone Ghost General did not want to be left behind, both performing their ace attacks. The thin layer that isolated the shocking sky was cracked open, and a rich and pure yuan qi flow leaked out in all directions. As soon as it touched the air, it quickly became chaotic and violent, shattering the clouds in the sky. With a shoo, Yichen flew out along the direction of the yuan qi flow. Right now, I am at the top in every aspect. The only thing I am lacking is my own cultivation. Unfortunately, if I want to reach the peak level from mid-astral reaching realm, I would need at least dozens of earth astral pellets. After all, when I was only one step away from the peak level early astral reaching realm, I had already used up 2 earth astral pellets. That alchemist could only make 10 pellets a year, so I bought the remaining 5. It wasn't that Yichen hadn't thought of buying better pills or spirit grasses than the earthly astral pill, but unfortunately, these things were extremely rare and couldn't be bought with spirit stones. Otherwise, he would have prepared them when he was in the Martial City's trading hall. In any case, he had a lot of spirit stones with him. Forget it. It's better to cultivate on your own. Elixirs and elixirs can only be found by luck. There's no need to rush. Yichen, on the other hand, was not in a hurry to make a breakthrough. His cultivation base was not that powerful, but he could spend 10 times the effort to improve his martial arts and mentality, as well as his sword intent. Plus, with his current power, he was already at the peak of the astral reaching realm. The most important thing was to maintain a good mentality. Let's go check out the Bloodstone Islands. I wonder what kind of secrets that blood evil beast has. I can't let go of the blood demon and the blood sword artist either. Shoo! His shadow flashed continuously as Yichen's speed reached 3 times the speed of sound. The news about the blood evil beast appearing in the Bloodstone Islands had spread out in the whole South Rudra region at an unimaginable speed. Although a lot of astral reaching realm warriors did not dare to have any ideas about the blood evil beast, they would not let go of the blood evil stone in the area where the beast lived. Especially the powerful warriors from all the martial institutions, they valued the blood evil stone even more, since it was a treasure that could increase one's mental power. Qihua, the headmaster and the others will take care of the blood evil beast. Our target is the blood evil stone. If we run into any weaker astral reaching realm warriors, you will take care of them. On one of the islands, a group of people wearing red robes appeared. They all had the symbol of the fire spirit palace on their clothes. The leader said to the handsome teenager next to him. The handsome teenager's eyebrows were like blades as he said confidently, "Second master, don't worry. Below the late astral reaching realm, I, Yan Qihua, am not afraid of anyone." The leader was an elder in his 60s. He was very confident about Yan Qihua's power. In the 2 years after the Hidden Dragon rank competition, Yan Qihua had been training even harder. Finally, he had managed to reach the astral reaching realm half a year ago. As one of the rank 6 martial institutions, the Fire Spirit Palace did not lack pellets that could increase cultivation. With these pellets, Yan Qihua had reached the peak level of early astral reaching realm from early astral reaching realm in just 1 week. Added with his cross-realm battling power, no one below the late astral reaching realm would be able to beat him. Second master, it is not like you do not know about Qihua's power. If he is able to join the Hidden Dragon rank competition again, Xikong Sheng and Yi Chen would not be able to get the first place easily. An inner master from the Fire Spirit Palace said with a loud voice. Yan Qihua tightened his fist and thought to himself, "Xikong Sheng, Yi Chen, wait for me." On the third island next to them, people from the Heartless Martial School had also arrived. Li Daoxian, who was wearing blue robes, had a long sword on his waist. His aura was getting colder and colder. Wherever he looked, the astral reaching realm warriors there would have a strong reaction, as if there was a sword with a cold light pointing right at them, killing their minds. What a powerful sword intent! It should be at least 90%, right? He is indeed a rare martial genius of the Heartless Martial School. Without any surprises, there will be another Sea of Souls realm warrior in the Heartless Martial School in the near future. Yeah, Li Daoxuan's talent is without a doubt. But, the legendary Yi Chen seems to be even more powerful. He is the most powerful young sword artist in the past 1,000 years in the whole South Rudra region. Not necessarily. All martial geniuses do not want to lose. Perhaps, Li Daoxian has already reached Yi Chen, or even surpassed him. Everyone was discussing. Li Daoxian sighed. It was all thanks to Yi Chen that his sword intent could increase this fast. In his heart, he hoped that Yi Chen could become even more powerful, so that he would have the motivation to keep chasing after him. Focusing his eyes, Li Daoxian noticed the young girl in the distance. It was Bing Ling from the Ice Extreme Martial School. Bing Ling was also a peak-level early astral reaching realm warrior right now, and there was no doubt that she would not be able to reach that level. The purpose of the competitions of the Hidden Dragon rank was to motivate people. Under other people's motivations, people would usually be able to make breakthroughs faster. If there were not many martial geniuses in the whole South Rudra region, and they did not have that much talent, then it would mean that the whole South Rudra region was weak. Only competition would provide the motivation. A peaceful environment would always make people relax. And in the era of martial geniuses, relaxation would only mean falling behind. Only by continuously becoming more powerful could one maintain their position. No one would want to leave the stage in the dark. It seems like I will not be lonely anymore. Li Daoxian did not dare to underestimate Bing Ling. Falling behind for a while did not mean falling behind forever. The top 10 of the Hidden Dragon rank were all martial geniuses of the same level. On the east side of the island, people from the Sky Flying Devil Martial School are here. Indeed, Mo Yen is already a peak-level early astral reaching realm warrior. What? Murong Qingqing's cultivation is only at the mid-astral reaching realm? How is this possible? All of the astral reaching realm warriors on the island could not believe their own eyes. They all gasped, trying their best to open their eyes. Wearing purple robes and a light veil on her face, Murong Qingqing walked behind the second core master. Mo Yen, who was usually the head disciple, was half a step behind Murong Qingqing. Vaguely, there was a trace of jealousy and evil light in his eyes. If Yichen were here, he would be able to tell that Mo Yan's temperament had changed a little bit. Ha! What Xikong Sheng? What Yichen? They were all surpassed by Qingqing in the end. And I, one day, will surpass Qingqing and make her my woman. Mo Yen sneered in his mind. After the hidden dragon rank competitions had ended, he had worked harder than anyone else, even to the point of torturing himself. What he could not understand was that Murong Qingqing had reached the early astral reaching realm with a crazy speed, and then from the early astral reaching realm to the mid-astral reaching realm. It had shocked the whole sky-flying devil martial school, and she had taken away the glory that belonged to him. Somehow, something in his heart had been broken. He swore that he would take back what belonged to him sooner or later, with interest. Qingqing, how confident are you in beating Yichen? The second core master of the sky-flying devil martial school somehow thought of Yichen, so he asked. Murong Qingqing's voice was light, not even 10%. Qingqing, you are too humble. You have trained your sky demon great art to the 13th realm. Why do you have to boost the others' morale and lower your own? Hearing Yichen's name, Mo Yen could not help but say. My instinct has always been very sharp. He will not stay where he is, waiting for me to surpass him. Murong Qingqing did not think that she was more talented than Xikong Sheng and Yan Qihua. Being able to train her sky demon great art from the 10th realm to the 13th realm was all thanks to the sky demon flower and the mysterious power contained in it. Once the martial art reached a higher realm, the speed of cultivation would be unimaginable. Especially since the mysterious power contained in the sky demon flower could increase cultivation as well, since it was made from the blood of the ancient demon king, and what kind of cultivation did the ancient demon king have? They were all life and death realm warriors, so how could they not have the mysterious power to increase their cultivation? The second core master of the Sky Demon Martial School shook his head with a smile. He was just like Mo Yen, thinking that Murong Qingqing was just being humble. Everyone in the Sky Demon Martial School knew about Murong Qingqing's personality. She was neither arrogant nor impatient, and would never give up. Sometimes, he felt that Murong Qingqing was very scary, as she did not have any mental weakness. Sensing the change in the atmosphere, Murong Qingqing shook her head slightly. She knew that the second master and Mo Yen would not believe her, but she really did not have the confidence to win against Yichen. Yichen's horrifying power was something she knew better than anyone else. If her mind was already close to perfection, then Yichen's mind had reached a level where he would not be affected by anything. Of course, it was only in the astral reaching realm, where the mind of a life and death realm warrior would definitely be more powerful than them. Let's go in. The second master took a step forward, leading everyone into the blood-red swirl. Meanwhile, people from the other islands had also entered. All the rank 6 martial institutions people had been sent out, so they must have included the blood evil beast in their plan. There should not be too much danger. After half a day, a beam of blue light flashed past, landing on the nearest island. There are a lot less people. Yichen frowned. In his sight, there were only a few astral reaching realm warriors on the island, 90% less than before. Taking out his great sword and wearing it on his waist, Yichen did not think too much. His body flashed once and disappeared, jumping into the blood-red swirl. Chapter 351. 1,000 miles away from the mass grave, near a transportation door, a human figure appeared out of nowhere. Let's go check out the mass grave first. Flying into the sky, Yichen looked around and soon found a reference point. His Jin Yuan exploded, and his whole body turned into a beam of blue light, disappearing from where he was standing. 1,000 miles took less than 15 minutes to travel. When Yu Chen was less than 10 miles away from the mass grave, he pushed his soul power and spread it out in a fan shape. 1, 2, 5 Extreme Astral Reaching Realm Warriors. That person's clothes have the symbol of the Floating Mountain Martial School. He should be an Extreme Astral Reaching Realm Warrior from the Floating Mountain Martial School. Yu Chen's soul power was already very powerful. With the increase of his cultivation, the scanning range of his soul power was getting wider and wider. If he were to scan in one direction, 10 miles would not be a problem at all. Even the slightest movement would be captured by his mind. It seems a bit different. There is a huge amount of power of nothingness gathered on his body. It is the will power, which is different from the sword intent. Frowning, Yu Chen could deeply feel the power of Shen Tujue's will power. Others might not know that I killed Daoist Jin Huang, but he should know. To the Hanging Mountain, Daoist Jin Huang isn't a big deal. What's important is face. They won't let the murderer live. If word got out, how could they keep their face? Yu Chen did not need to guess. The possibility of him reconciling with the Floating Mountain Martial School was almost zero. On the other side of the road, Blood Sword and Master Blood Demon were flying at a moderate speed. Extreme Astral Reaching Realm Warriors would not care about the Blood Evil Stone. Our opponents are people who are below the Extreme Astral Reaching Realm. Master Blood Demon said. Blood Sword said coldly, just kill them. Killing is for sure. But, it would be best not to touch the rank 6 martial schools, unless we can kill all the evidence. Master Blood Demon was not arrogant enough to challenge a rank 6 martial school. Not to mention him, even the elders of the 9 Ghost Cult would not dare to challenge a rank 6 martial school. Of course, it would only be temporary. 2 hours later, the two arrived at the edge of the mass grave. With a single glance, Master Blood Demon saw White Bone, who was wearing a black robe. That year, the 9 evil cult had 108 great ghost generals, but in the end, only 30% of them survived. Among those who survived were the 3 strongest ghost generals of the 9 evil cult, and White Bone was one of them. Although White Bone Ghost General won't let me have the Blood Evil Stone, with him around, it's almost certain that I'll get the Blood Evil Companion Stone. Master Blood Demon revealed a faint look of joy. His gaze subconsciously shifted. Suddenly, he noticed Yu Chen several miles to his left. It's him. Blood Sword also noticed Yu Chen and sneered, seeking his own death. It's not up to him anymore. Whoosh! A blood mark flashed in the air as Blood Sword dashed towards Yu Chen at an extreme speed. Master Blood Demon was a little hesitant. After thinking about it, he followed Blood Sword Artist. Blood Sword Art. Taking out his long sword from its scabbard, Blood Sword threw a sword attack towards Yu Chen from hundreds of meters away. Yu Chen had already noticed Blood Sword and Master Blood Demon. His face was indifferent, and his eyes were cold, as if he was looking at 2 dead men. A dark blue sword light shot out from his scabbard. Chin. The air vibrated as Blood Sword's sword light was shattered. Die. Master Blood Demon held his blood-red stick with both of his hands, performing his major Blood Demon body separating great art. With a sweep of his stick, the air in front of him was sucked out, creating a vacuum world. The misty longsword in my soul sea should be a sword intent. I just happen to not have anyone to test it on. Holding the dark blue longsword in his right hand, it was a mid-rank thunder attributed great sword. Yu Chen had given it a name, Thunderlock. The Thunderlock sword was extremely compatible with the thunder mentality. When he threw out a sword attack, it was no longer a sword, but a thunder light, including Master Blood Demon and Blood Sword Artist. Pop! Thunder flash. Master Blood Demon was blown back with a horrified expression. His tiger palm holding the stick had been shaken to the point of numbness, and streams of blood flowed down. Blood Sword was not any better. He could only see the thunder light in front of him, and an immortal will had shattered his sword intent, affecting his protective Jin Yuan. Pooh! His sword intent shattered, and Blood Sword puked out a blood arrow. Completed sword intent. No, it is a sword spirit embryo. Blood Sword could not believe it. Yi Chen's cultivation base was only at mid-astral reaching realm, so how could his sword intent be this powerful? Moreover, it had reached the stage of condensing sword spirit. It should be known that sword spirit was much harder to condense than martial spirit. Many people might not even be able to successfully condense sword spirit after reaching the Sea of Souls realm. Condensing sword spirit was several times harder than condensing martial spirit. Correspondingly, once one managed to condense sword spirit, even if it was just a sword spirit embryo, its attacking power would reach a whole new level. Damn it! Retreat! Blood Sword was shocked and angry at the same time. It had only been a few days, but Yi Chen's power had already completely surpassed them. Thinking of what Yi Chen had said in the mass grave, an intense hatred rose up in his heart. Anyone who offended him, Blood Sword, would not be able to live in peace. This kid, he had to kill him, and his whole family. Otherwise, he would not be able to resolve the hatred in his heart. Retreat! Master Blood Demon was terrified. Everyone called him a demon, but in his eyes, Yi Chen was even more frightening than a demon. If he did not kill him, he would not be able to eat or sleep in peace. Only by escaping to White Bone's vicinity would he be able to gather a few people's power and kill Yi Chen together. Where do you think you are going? Yi Chen aimed at the two's escape route and performed his sky-shattering clouds. Pop! 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 Thunder light exploded in the sky, and the wind and clouds surged. One after another, small mountains cracked open, and the insides were scorched black. Brother White Bone, save me! Pushing his Jin Yuan to its limit, Master Blood Demon took a deep breath and sent a message to White Bone, who was miles away. White Bone turned his head suspiciously. Someone is chasing after Master Blood Demon. It is a young man. Master Blood Demon, come to me. I will make sure you are safe. White Bone made a face, not taking Yi Chen seriously at all. After getting the reply, Master Blood Demon felt a bit better. He said to Blood Sword, this kid will not live for long. Don't worry. You and I will retreat to a safe area first. He did not care about Blood Sword's life or death. If he could join the 9 ghost cults camp, then it would be great. Top astral reaching realm warriors were not that common in the South Rudra region. Plus, with Blood Sword's talent, it would not be impossible for him to become a Sea of Souls realm warrior in the future. Alright. Blood Sword could guess what Master Blood Demon was thinking. He hesitated a bit, but eventually agreed. After reaching his level, the biggest hope was to reach the Sea of Souls realm. Being alone, there would be a limit to what he could do. This time, with the appearance of the Blood Evil Beast, if he could get enough Blood Evil Stones, it would be very useful for him. He might even be able to form a sword spirit. Green Lotus Sky. Green Lotus Accumulation. Putting the Thunder Sword back into its scabbard, Yi Chen took out his green wood sword and waved it in the air. The air seemed to have been frozen, as countless green lotuses appeared out of nowhere, surrounding Blood Sword and Master Blood Demon. Open for me. Boom. The two attacked a certain spot together, opening up a gap. Swoosh. Before they could get out of the range of the sword attacks, a fist-sized green lotus shot over, carrying a powerful sword intent. It was unbelievably fast as it pierced through Blood Sword's shoulder. Blood splashed out from his back as Blood Sword screamed, "You dare to hurt me? From now on, I will kill all of your family members. Do you really think you can leave this place alive? Today, the mass grave will be your burial ground." Green Lotus Chi Transmutation. Sensing the power of the sword intent, Yi Chen did not perform his ace attacks anymore. Instead, he performed the basic sword movement of the Green Lotus sword arts. As he threw out a sword attack, a huge green lotus appeared in front of him. The lotus opened up, shooting out countless blue sword chi like a porcupine shooting out its spikes. Shoo! 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 The sword chi was like rain, spreading out in the surreal space, blocking all of the two's escape routes. Ding! Dang! Blood Sword and Master Blood Demon waved their weapons, blocking out the dense sword chi. Pooh! Pooh! These sword chi were not normal sword chi, but sword chi condensed with a powerful sword intent. Each attack contained an unimaginable power, as well as an indestructible willpower. Blood Sword's right arm felt numb for a while, as his right arm had been cut off by a sword chi. The pain made his face pale. Master Blood Demon used his Blood Demon clone to block in front of him, helping him remove some of the sword chi. With their cooperation, there were also some sword wounds on his body, making him bleed profusely. Green Lotus Mountain. The sword rain had just passed when a huge green lotus imprinted sword light tore open the surreal space, shooting out from above. The horrifying sword intent pierced through the surreal space. What a powerful sword intent! At the critical moment, a 10-meter-long bone claw blocked in front of the sword light. Kacha! The bone claw was full of cracks, shattering in all directions. Metal mentality. There is another special mentality, which is very tenacious. Seeing the bone claw blocking the sword light, Yichen frowned slightly. Apart from the metal mentality, there was another mentality on the bone claw, which was as tenacious as bones, containing a life force. A black shadow flashed, and white bone appeared in front of Blood Sword and Master Blood Demon. He looked at Yichen with interest. Interesting. You have already condensed a sword's soul embryo at such a young age. Unfortunately, your cultivation is a bit lacking. I have a pellet here. Swallow it, and I will spare your life. Shadow explosion. Yichen ignored White Bone's appearance, and his body exploded in all directions. Countless shadows rushed out like a flood, drowning the three within. The sword light flashed. Blood Sword and Master Blood Demon's heads flew up, their eyes wide open. The two had just let out a sigh of relief when they died completely. White Bone reached out his huge hand, tearing apart a huge number of shadows. The remaining shadows merged into one, which was hundreds of meters away from White Bone. With a gloomy look in his eyes, White Bone looked at Blood Demon and Master Blood Demon's heads and said, "You have missed your chance to live." Putting the greenwood sword back into its scabbard, Yichen said indifferently, "Your power is far from enough." Seeking death. White Bone opened his mouth and roared. Both of his hands tore through the air, and dozens of white claw lights shot out. They were both heavy and light at the same time. Taking out the destruction sword, Yichen performed the fast mentality, shattering all of the incoming claw lights. Following the sword aura, Yichen rushed toward White Bone. He threw out a sword attack that seemed fast but was actually slow. He switched from fast mentality to slow mentality, without any pause in the middle. What? White Bone backed out hurriedly. During the process, his body shone with a white light, and a White Bone armor made of Jin Yuan appeared on his body, blocking out Yichen's attack. Crack! The broken light shot out, and the speed of the Ghost General's retreat increased drastically. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.